Hi, third grade. This is the walkthrough of your Part 1 assignment for the Dr. Seuss project. We're going to be starting on my Canvas page. So you'll go to Canvas and you'll go to Technology. In the weekly lessons, we are in the third 9 weeks, working in Lesson 12 on Horton Hatches the Egg. The assignment will probably jump you down to the bottom, which is fine. I'm going to just point out a few things. You can see all of the assignments that we're working on right here. So I am modeling this for Flowers class today, which means we are doing day 1. But if you're in a different class, you can see when your day 1 is. So for day 1, we are going to complete these 9 steps.
Step 1.
Step 1 is to open the assignment. So all the way at the bottom, we're pressing this blue open to attach and submit. And that opens up a new tab for us.
Step 2.
Step 2 says to open your template, which is your name and Horton Hatches. So click on that. By the way, we will not be submitting our work today because we need to complete part 2, which is questions 1 through 3 next week. So you do not need to turn it in today.
Step 3.
Step 3, we are double clicking on the word name so that it's selected in blue, and that's where you're going to put your name. I'm using Trevor's as an example, so I'll type his name, and that completes step 3.
Step 4.
Step 4 is to put in your teacher's name. So step 3, we put in our own names. Step 4, we're putting in the teacher. I am modeling this for Mrs. Flowers' class, but you'll put whoever your homeroom teacher is there.
Step 5.
Step 5, we are only answering question 4 today. And step 5 tells you to click on the JS Paint app in question 4. So I'm going to click on the link, and then it opens right below, and I click to jump to that link.
Step 6.
Step 6, you are going to be drawing a make-believe animal, an animal that you create, hatching out of an egg. You might remember in kindergarten how we read If I Ran the Zoo, and we learned about all these crazy mixed up animals like the 10-footed lion and the tiny little deer with crazy horns and the elephant cat and the iota. You are going to just make up your own silly animal. So my favorite animal is a turtle, and I'm going to combine it with a lion and a rabbit. I'm going to invent the Lyturbate. There are a few things I need to point out about the JS Paint app. It's similar to Microsoft Paint that you've used before, but there's a couple big differences. You can adjust the paper size like you're used to. I would keep it the shape of a sheet of paper. I wouldn't stretch it all the way out. In Microsoft Paint, I recommend using the pencil. I do not recommend that in this app. It's too tiny. You can see how thin that drawing is right there. So I'm going to undo that with my Control Z. Remember, you can also hit Edit and Undo, but it tells you the shortcut is Control Z. Okay, I would recommend drawing everything with your brush because you have a lot more sizes you can pick from. You can make it thick or thin. Let's say that I want my crazy animal hatching out of an egg to be outside. I'm going to get my paint bucket and some blue. Then I'm going to get my brush and make some grass. I'm going to make a goof on mine. I am not all the way connected to the edge. So if I go ahead and paint this, it paints the whole thing. Control Z to zap my mistake. I'm going to get the paintbrush and connect it this time. There's no holes for the paint to spill through, and that works much better. All right, the assignment is to make a crazy animal hatching out of an egg, so I'm going to draw the egg now. By the way, I would highly recommend that you use a mouse to do this project, that you hook a mouse up to your Chromebook, because if you use the touchpad, it's doable, but it's really hard. I know how difficult it is to draw with a mouse as is, but drawing with a touchpad is just about near impossible. So I would definitely recommend you use a mouse for this. Okay, so just one more thing I want to show you in the drawing before you start working. I want to make the lion's mane orange, and this is the only orange they have. You can actually create your own colors though. So if I double click on this and I go to my define custom colors, I can adjust how my orange looks. I want that brighter orange. And then if I hit OK, it changes my orange. So you can create your own colors if you would like to. Another cool feature I wanted to show you is, although I would do most of your work with the brush and the paint bucket, the spray paint makes really cool clouds. If you did decide to make yours outside, you can make some neat clouds with that. So I've just jumped ahead to my finished project that I had completed earlier. And now we are going to move on to getting this picture into our Horton Hatches document.
Step 7.
So the first thing we're going to do in step 7 is download this. We're going to go to File, Save As, and it lets you give it a name. So I'm going to get rid of Untitled, and we're all going to call it Crazy Animal because that makes it really easy for us to find later if we all give it the same name. So you're calling it Crazy Animal, and you're going to hit Save. Mine downloads to the bottom left because I'm on a laptop. Yours will download to the bottom right because you're on a Chromebook. Next, we need to copy and paste this over into our work. We're going to start with some keyboard shortcuts. Control A selects all, A for all. So press Control A. Now you've got a dotted line all the way around your project. Then we're going to copy it. Copy starts with the letter C. So we're going to do Control C for copy.
Step 8.
Then we go back to our Horton Hatches project, and where it says Animal Pick, we're going to double click on that. So it's selected in blue, and we're going to paste. Paste is not a Control P, that would actually be print. Next to the C used for copy is the letter V, V. That's your paste. So Control V to paste.
Step 9.
And finally, for step 9, you're going to give this animal a name. So I'm going to double click on the words animal name. I don't want to backspace it. I want to just type right over it. I'm going to call mine the Liturbit because it's part lion, part turtle, and part rabbit. You create a name for your crazy animal. And then that completes our assignment for part 1. You do not need to submit your work because we're going to do questions 1 through 3 next week after we read the book together. You do not have anything to save in this Google Doc because if you see the cloud has a check mark in it, that means that your document is already saved. So you don't have to save anything else. You don't have to share it with me, none of that. As long as your question 4 is complete with a picture and name, and as long as you have your name and teacher at the top, you are done for today.